All right, thank you for staying with us. Let's take you now to our Abuja studio where Eshomomo Imodu and TVC Adeoye are standing by to continue the program. Good morning, Eshomomo. Good morning, TVC. How are you guys doing this morning?
Very well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As usual, you can be sure Abuja is cool.
Abuja is always cool. Well, I know that. Right, carry on to Jesus.
You were lashed in front of the assembly.
There you go. But I was a good guy. You know, social
it's only
prefect.
Bad guys that are lashed.
No, it's just a common thing. It's a common thing back in the day. You know.
I wasn't, so it's not common.
But you said you were flogged in the what's it called?
That's for only naughty people. When you're naughty, you get lashed in front of.
Thank you,
Eshomomo is on my side. Don't worry. Don't make it a female thing.
It's a battle of the sexes this morning. But
earlier in the day, you guys talked about heavy traffic this morning in Lagos. I just imagined which angle will I be having such traffic in Abuja?
Well,
is that a bragging?
I don't know what you want to brag about this morning, but I've been in Abuja sometimes and I've seen the traffic as well. Right. So very soon, Abuja will become Lagos when it comes to traffic.
Especially with what Wike is doing.
Exactly.
It will make he's opening up everywhere.
You can take it away now.
Okay, let's go into the business of the day. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's program. We are live from our Abuja studio here at the Federal Capital Territory. Are you aware that Nigeria is richly blessed with natural resources from solid minerals to oil deposits? But illegal mining activities are robbing the nation of billions in potential revenue while leaving communities devastated. From gold and columbine to lead and zinc, illegal mining has become a major source of economic leakage. Today, we will be exploring the far-reaching impact of these activities and the urgent need for sustainable solutions. The federal government estimates that illegal mining costs the nation billions of naira annually in lost revenue. But beyond the numbers are the social and environmental consequences.
These mining activities have destroyed farmlands, polluted water sources across communities, contributing to insecurity, with criminal groups profiting from the trade. In some cases, the minerals are smuggled out of the country, further depriving Nigeria of its resources. The government has taken some steps, including forming task forces to crack down on illegal mining operations and revising mining policies. However, enforcement remains a challenge due to limited manpower and corruption. As Nigeria seeks to diversify its economy, protecting the nation's natural resources from exploitation is more critical than ever. And to discuss the potential solutions to the problem, let's turn to our guest in the studio, Segun Tomori, who is the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister of Solid Mineral Development. It's good to have you in our studio this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Now, let's jump straight into it. The federal government is making strategic investment in the solid mineral sector because of its potential, to boost the nation's GDP. But how well has the minister managed the resistance from artisanal miners against regulation that will require them to join cooperatives? Have there been any positive response so far?
Thank you very much. I think there's been far-reaching positive response over the past 18 months since the minister assumed office. For instance, you mentioned artisanal miners and the plan of the minister at the inception of his tenure that they should join cooperatives. As we speak today, we have over 250 of those cooperatives. So there's been positive, we've had cooperation of the artisanal miners in that regard. So aside from the artisanal miners, we also have the illegal mining, the larger illegal mining. So what we are doing is we are using persuasive. Persuasive is the cooperatives, then also the enforcement, what we call the carrot and stick approach. So for those that do not, heed to the demand or the policy of the ministry, we have the mining marshals that was established last year. I don't know if you've heard about it. So they are the one enforcing mining laws. They are doing operations across the country. As we speak, we have 2,570 mining marshals deployed across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. So yes, we are seeing positive impact of the minister's reforms and policies. Aside from that, we'll see that before the advent of the Tinubu administration, mining was relegated to the background. We see more focus on oil and gas, oil and gas, and mining was relegated for decades. And the first thing the president did was to separate mines and steel, to create a separate ministry called Ministry of Solid Minerals Development. That was a pointer to the fact that this president is keen on diversifying the economy with solid minerals as a focus. And that's why he sent his trusted ally in the person of Dr. Dele Alake to head that ministry. And the work of the minister so far, in marketing the sector has brought renewed enthusiasm, renewed interest of Nigerians, not only locally, but globally to the sector. So we are making progress.
But the artisanal miners have also expressed concerns that this regulations will give bigger mining corporations, companies, an unfair advantage over them. How is the ministry going to ensure balance in this regard?
Well, we are catering to both artisanal miners and big players, because no matter what you say, if you want to develop the mining sector in Nigeria, you need the big players, and we are not even there yet, because maybe we have what we call medium players or mid players, but you don't have the big league players, like Glencore, and others in the global sector. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to put in place enabling environment, efficient governance structure to ensure that we can attract such big players. Just last year, Glencore visited Nigeria and visited the minister, and a whole lot of global players are already showing interest, in Nigeria. And what are we doing? And that's why the minister is saying that we must scale up exploration. The paltry budget for exploration is simply unconscionable, if we want solid minerals to contribute effectively, as in substantially, to Nigeria's gross domestic product. So he's ramping up efforts to get funding. The funding is not coming through the envelope system of budgeting, but he is looking at innovative means to get funding. Because presently, as we speak, the minister is always saying at diverse fora that only 5% of the landmass of Nigeria has been explored. We've done exploration for 5% of the landmass of Nigeria, and from that 5%, we have discovered 44 critical minerals in Nigeria. How much more if we do 60%, 50%, or 70%? So the potential is simply immense and immeasurable. Okay.
Now, considering the huge potential, and if we take into cognizance what transpired at the 2025 budgetary screening, what other areas would you expect that government will get, government will put more interest so that we can harness the entire potential in this sector? What are those specific things you would like to see put in place?
I would like to see?
Yeah, the government, okay. Your ministry.
Okay, basically, like I said, we're wrapping up funding, and there's also the plan, to establish the Nigeria Solid Minerals Corporation. I think it's been in existence before, but not in the structure that we are planning it. It's going to be largely private sector driven. The proposed equity, for instance, there will be 25% for Nigerians. There will be, I think, 25% for federal government, and I know that the details are being worked out, but I know that the minister has assured Nigerians that in the coming weeks it will be launched. The president has approved the composition of the board, of the corporation, and we'll see something that will drive, that will further strengthen what we are doing, drive the reforms, and get equity partnership, not only from Nigerians, but also from the private sector. But it will be largely private sector driven, and it will follow the pattern of the LNG. The minister has said that at diverse fora. So it is being worked out, and in the coming weeks, expect an announcement. That is on, Nigeria Solid Minerals Corporation. There's also the plans, going forward to infuse satellite monitoring of mining sites to aid the work of the mining marshals. Because you agree with me that Nigeria has a vast landmass of mining areas that cannot be covered by the boots on the ground we have. And aside from that, we have the boots on the ground we have. The mining marshals was conceptualized to be a multi-agency security outfit, specially trained. The present one we have now, we are utilizing were brought from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, which is the NSCDC. So we plan to have infusion of the police, the army, and other, to strengthen the operation. So, so what the mining marshals as we have now is just the first layer. I don't know if you recall last year, I think early last year, the president established an interministerial committee to secure natural resources, not only solid minerals, but forest and fauna, marine economy, and all that. So, they were meeting with my minister was the chairman of that committee. They were meeting with security chiefs and all that, but we just had to get something started because the process for that would take long. So that's why, he initiated and, the mining marshals that we can pull out the core, because NSCDC, the part of their core mandate is also protection of, infrastructure, mineral resources and all that. So that's why we're able to pull them out and achieve what we achieved. So a lot is being planned. There's also the plan, I must state that, there's also the plan to have an infrastructure corridor, for infrastructure. Most private investors, their concern is they need a lot of infrastructure to transport the solid minerals, from maybe the villages, the communities, to where, they can be processed and all that. So that plan is ongoing. The ministry is collaborating with other ministries